My name's Nicole Harding.
I'm Jerry with Hardline Customs.
This is our 1950s Jeep Willys station wagon that we brought to SEMA this year. This thing came to be a little bit by accident. We were actually looking for a shop Jeep for the shop, just a JK toy for Jerry to have. We were scrolling on Facebook Marketplace, and when I typed in Jeep, a few pages down, this thing popped up. Total rust bucket in a field, $600. I was like, Jerry, do people build these? Like, what's the story about this? And he was like, not really, like it's not really a thing. And I was like, I think we should buy this. So we bought it, brought it home, put it on a trailer, sat there for a while. Initial thought that he had was like, what if we turned it into like a prohibition, like rum runner sort of vibe, and kind of take it that route. We talked about it a little bit more and realized that like that's really not the era of this. Like, it wasn't really true to the vehicle. So we spent a weekend, we did a ton of research over the origins of these, like what they were originally used for and kind of the purpose. But we came across some old advertisements, and the whole thing was like this concept of you could put your whole family in it and take them to the movies, and then you could also drive it across country. And then we also found an old video commercial, and it was like a guy at his house, like on a farm, and he was like, during the day I take the back seat out and load it full of farm stuff. At night we just clean it out and go to the movies. So it shows this kid hosing out the back, and they put the seat in and they all go to the movies. So we really tried to stay really true to that duality of purpose when we were coming up with the concept for this, form and function. When you look at it now, suspension wise, engine wise, if you wanted to go rock crawling, you could. We still kept luxuries, quote unquote, that it had for a 1950s, so that it still would be comfortable for a daily driver.
So our shop does mainly off-road stuff, but I'm very versatile. I've been in the truck and car industry for 22 years.
We've been super blessed. The shop's done great. We've had the ability to do some really cool builds so far. There's a lot of lift kits, leveling kits, wheels and tires, a lot of resto mods, LS swaps, but still in this American muscle family. We really don't do anything with the foreign stuff. It's more the classic, American classics. Jerry keeps saying that this is all me and it was my idea of my build, but it definitely was a group vision. We had a lot of team meetings throughout this to try to figure out exactly how to get it done. We really love to do this thing of keeping it relatively stock, so small changes, right? So the hood was chopped 4 inches. Not super noticeable unless you know what a Willys wagon looks like. The fenders were then raised up, they were lengthened. Front end of this thing is my favorite part of the entire build. At one point in time, I think someone had suggested if we got rid of the chrome and did black everywhere, and I was like, absolutely, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, it's gonna be chrome.
My favorite part, everything under that you can't see, because the underneath is just as beautiful as the top. Like, you wouldn't believe it. You could lay under it and go, how the hell did they do that?
The Holley Retro Brights, which actually works so well to like keep that vintage look. They're factory bumpers. This one has been chopped, obviously, so it does give it more of that like crawler feel to it. Originally, with this little pop-up light that you see here, this was a vent for airflow, and I was like, what if we put like a little light there? So just small changes, just has a much cleaner look.
The custom parts on this thing, it would take me all day to go over. I'll hit the highlights, okay? As far as like suspension wise, I did a triangulated 4-link on the rear, 3-link on the front with the East Coast Gear Supply axles. The motor is an LQ9 6.0. Flat top pistons, had the heads fully built, big valves, trick flow cam in it, so it's got a little thump to it. 488 gears, E-locker in the front, True Track in the back. We did a JB shifter for the 4-wheel drive. We actually did cable column shifter, GM steering column. The Detroit steel wheels were actually really perfect for keeping with the overall idea for the build. Originally, these did have a solid type steely on them. The Del Rey then was perfect to keep with that like kind of original aesthetic, but then taking it to be a little bit more modern. So we still have the relatively solid face here and the large cap that matches what they used to look like. But then adding the nice that we have the vent holes here around the side. Obviously a solid steely, on something that's gonna get used, we get problems with like hot brakes and that kind of stuff. So this was the perfect blend of form and function and looks for us. So we were really happy to get these on it. So when we were looking at deciding on what to do for interior, one of my other favorite parts of just the overall look of this was the ribs. This is pretty much just a box, right? It looks very much like a panel van. This is the only thing really on the exterior that kind of stands out to be a little different. So when we did the interior, on all the panels and then on the front and rear seats, we also incorporated like these 3 ridges so that they do still kind of match. I did not know that these actually, like your interior door handle is this button right here, which is kind of cool. You press this and it opens
opens it up. Our interior guy, his name is Spencer, he's from Top Stitch in Atlanta, Georgia. He's fabulous. If anyone's in Atlanta and you need an interior guy, he's great. He actually helped me figure out these floor mat situations. So this is actually marine flooring that he did here. We just loved this. It added a little bit of color, a little bit of difference. We definitely wanted to keep with that kind of stock feel and replicate the wood that they had in the floor. We did the classic wood steering wheel, cleaned up the dash. The dash used to have a lot of gauges on it. We just opted to get rid of all that, just to keep everything in here just very clean and simple.
So in the back, we did custom wood inserts, which is walnut, had our logo engraved right here. What people don't realize, they look at the floor and they go, oh, there's a floor pan. We made that. Everything was hand formed. The back seat is out of a K5. TJ front seats, custom headliner, custom hinges right here. One of the cool features, which is my favorite feature, is the hidden gas fill, which is behind the tail light. So that's an F-150 fill neck, and we just modified it and made our own little box for it. Front end is stubbed a little bit. Top is chopped 2 inches. We have custom glass in it. Dude, we had a lot of friends come in and help at the end.
This was definitely a huge team effort. Huge shout outs to Detroit Steel Wheel, helping us out on the wheel situation. Toyo Tires for the tires. These are actually their new ones too, so we feel a little special with that. Huge support from Holly this year. FTI, Spencer at Top Stitch for interior. Dalton Automotive did our paint, which if you don't have paint, you don't have anything. East Coast Gear Supply helped us out on our axles. Will's our sales guy. If you need somebody, he's awesome. Heretic definitely helped us out with our little pop-up light. Thank you to the entire team at the shop, all of our friends and family.
It was a fun build. So the next places you could probably see this thing at is in Atlanta at Caffeine and Octane. Pigeon Forge, definitely LS Fest East. It's going to hit a few other shows. I will keep you guys updated.